What is up, radio fans? Big Al is back, and boy, have I missed y'all. It is Friday, May 14th, 2020. It's been nearly 6 months since I've uploaded and or recorded a video on my channel. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are back as we continue our series with the AM and FM radio stations from across the country. And in my first video back after nearly a 6-month layoff, our focus will be centered on the Buckeye capital of the world. That would be Columbus, Ohio. So this is our third trip into the Buckeye state. We did Cincinnati and we did Cleveland earlier in this series. And a quick note before we dive into the Columbus radio market. I will be reissuing all the videos from all the markets that I've done already because you know radio, it changes quickly. And there has been some changes over the past, say, 5-6 months. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more to come. So I will be refurbishing the other markets that I did, as well as bringing in some new markets like the one I'm doing today, Columbus, Ohio. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right to work on the AM and FM radio stations from across the Buckeye capital city of Columbus, Ohio. And we're going to kick things off, as always, on the AM side of the dial with AM 610 WTVN Columbus. This is one of a handful of Columbus area stations broadcasting in high definition. They're known as News Radio 610 WTVN, Columbus's news, weather, and traffic station. They broadcast a news talk format with hourly news updates from ABC News and programming from Premier Radio Networks and Westwood One. WTVN also has weather forecasts from ABC television station WSYX-TV Channel 6, which back in the day was also known as WTVN-TV. Because these two stations used to be co-owned with each other. The radio and the television station were co-owned with each other back in the day. Notable programming heard on WTVN Monday through Fridays include Rush Limbaugh, who of course passed away last month, Glenn Beck, Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, which airs live during overnight hours, and the Sean Hannity Show, also airing Monday through Fridays on tape delay. Notable weekend programs on WTVN include Mark Levin, Kim Commando, Joe Pags, Rick Elderman, and In the Garden with Ron Wilson, which is like a gardening show. And there is one local host of note on WTVN, and that's Joel Riley. He does the morning drives for News Radio 610 WTVN. Alright. WTVN signed on the air as WBAV on 640 AM on April 29th, 1992, or rather, April 29th, 1922. I got my years all mixed up, sorry about that. Then they became WAIO and WHKC. The station moved its frequency from 640 to 610 in 1945 and began identifying themselves as WTVN in 1954. WTVN is a Class B radio station according to the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at a full-time power of 5,000 watts effective radiated power from their transmitter located near Obetz, Ohio. WTVN is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed to IHM Licenses LLC. Programming is repeated on sister station WODC 93.3 HD2 in Asheville, Ohio, which is a Columbus suburb. Oh, and before I forget, I've also included stations from Chillicothe, Ohio, and some other areas south of Columbus. Chillicothe is a city about 50 miles south of downtown Columbus, so I also included their stations on this list as well. Speaking of which, here's one of them. 660 WXIC Waverly, Ohio. Known as WXIC AM 660, Ohio's gospel giant. They broadcast a Southern gospel format with news updates from ABC News. This station first signed on the air as WPKO on 1380 AM back on July 11, 1954. This station has a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, operating at an assigned frequency of 660 kilohertz at 1000 watts from sunrise to sunset. So this makes it an AM day timer, so they are required to go off the air by FCC law. WXIC is owned by Crystal Communications Corporation. Next up is WHTH, Heath, Ohio, on 790, also known as 1077 Buckeye Country. This station broadcasts country music and first hit the airwaves in 1970. They have a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with a daytime ERP of 1000 watts and a nighttime ERP of 26 watts. WHTH is owned by the Runnymede Corporation. Programming repeats on WNKO 101.7 HD2 and relayed on translator station W299CG at 107.7 FM, both licensed in Newark, Ohio. Next up is WVSG Columbus on 820, broadcasting in high definition. They're known as St. Gabriel Radio. They broadcast a Catholic Christian format and first aired as experimental station 8XI on April 20th, 1920. But their first air date as a licensed station by the FCC was June 3rd, 1922, as WEAO. The station was under ownership of The Ohio State University as WOSU-AM, which their call sign changed in 1933, and it stayed that way until 2011, when St. Gabriel Radio purchased WOSU from The Ohio State University. I think it was for $2 million. I'll have to read the full report on Wikipedia. Anyway, St. Gabriel's Radio then switched the call sign to the current WVSG. Alright, WVSG has a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting with a daytime ERP of 6,500 watts, nighttime ERP of 790 watts. Their transmitter is located on the border of Upper Arlington and Grove City, Ohio, a pair of north side Columbus suburbs. WVSG is owned by St. Gabriel Radio Incorporated, and their programming is also simulcast on WSGP 88.3 FM, New Boston, Ohio. 880 is WFRD, which is licensed in both Columbus and in nearby Worthington, Ohio. They're known as the Word 880 AM, 104.5 FM, life-changing radio. This is a Christian radio format with programming from the Salem Radio Network. Notable local programs include Bob Barney Live, which airs Monday through Fridays, and Listen to Your Money, Saving Face, and Saturday Live with Columbus radio legend Tom Weebel, airing on weekends. This station signed on the air on September 27, 1947. They presently have a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 23,000 watts during the day, 6,100 watts during critical hours. Now, critical hours is considered as 2 hours after local sunrise and 2 hours before local sunset. And this station does sign off the air at local sundown by FCC law. WRFD is owned by the Salem Media Group and licensed by Salem Media of Ohio Incorporated. Even though WRFD does sign off on 880, their programming is broadcast 24 hours a day over translator station W283CL in Columbus on 104.5 FM. 920 WMNI Columbus, Easy 95.1 FM, 920 AM. This station plays soft adult contemporary music with hourly news updates from Fox News Radio. WMNI is the Columbus area affiliate for Notre Dame Fighting Irish football, Pittsburgh Steelers football, the Indianapolis 500, and the Brickyard 400. And they are also listed as the flagship radio station of the Columbus Clippers. This is a minor league baseball team affiliated with the Cleveland Indians. So this is like their top minor league baseball team. This station signed on the air in 1958. They have a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, operating at 1,000 watts effective radiated power during the day and 500 watts at night. Their transmitter is located in the Columbus suburb of Grove City, Ohio. WMNI is owned by North American Broadcasting Company Incorporated, headquartered right there in Columbus, and programming repeats on translator W236CZ Columbus at 95.1. Alright. Jumping over to 1090 WKFI Wilmington, Ohio. Now, technically, this is aimed towards the Dayton and Cincinnati areas, but somehow shows up on Columbus's list on Wikipedia. This is one of the 3 stations known as Real Roots Radio, which features a classic country format with news updates from both Fox News Radio and the Ohio News Network. WKFI signed on the air as WMWM on December 5th, 1964, and changed their call sign to the current WKFI as of 1969. They have a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with a daytime only effective radiated power of 1,000 watts, so this station is also required to sign off the air at sundown. WKFI is owned by Town and Country Broadcasting Incorporated, and programming is not repeated, but rather simulcast on full power AM daytimers WBZI Xenia, Dayton, Ohio, which broadcasts at 500 watts daytime only on 1500, and on, I just saw it, here it is, WEDI in Eaton, Ohio, broadcasting at 250 watts daytime only on 11:30 a.m. Translator stations W294CQ at 106.7 FM in Wilmington relays WKFI's programming. Translator W262BG in Xenia, Ohio on 100.3 relays WBZI's programming, and W288DJ in Eaton, Ohio at 105.5 relays WEDI's programming. Next station up is 1230 WYTS Columbus. Columbus is BIN 1230 because truth matters. This is an all-news radio station aimed at the African American community. Wikipedia has them listed as black-oriented news. Kind of makes sense. WYTS is the Columbus area affiliate of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. So you'll hear all Cavs games in Columbus on BIN 1230. And this is one of the city's oldest radio stations. Been on the air since September 24th, 1922. They signed on as WMAN and also used 5 other call signs, including WCOL AM. WYTS has a Class C license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting full-time at 1,000 watts. Their transmitter is located southwest of downtown Columbus. Of course, their studios are located in downtown Columbus. WYTS is owned by iHeartMedia, licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Now, Wikipedia tells me that this station is repeated on WZCB 106.7 HD2 in Dublin, Ohio. But I looked at their page, and that is not the case. I think a throwback hip-hop station is on that particular station. I'll tell you all about it once we get to the FM dial. Alright, 1250 WCHO AM, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. This is in the southern portion of the state. Oldies 1250, Fayette County's Oldies station. They broadcast an oldies format with programming from ABC Radio, iHeartRadio, and Premium Choice. This is the Chillicothe area affiliate of the Ohio State Buckeyes, primarily the football and men's basketball games. WCHO AM signed on the air in February of 1952 and underwent 6 different call sign changes, and they had 2 previous runs as WCHO AM. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 500 watts effective radiated power during daytime hours and 42 watts at night. WCHO AM is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Next up on 1270 is WDLR Marysville, Ohio. My 96.7, Ohio's best classic hits. So this is a classic hits radio station, primarily playing 70s and 80s. And they are the Marysville area affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Ohio State Buckeyes football and men's basketball. WDLR first aired in 1983, originally as WUCO and most recently as WQTT. WDLR presently has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting full-time at 500 watts. The station is owned by Brent Casagrande. Of course, Casagrande is all one word. And is licensed under the umbrella Delmar Communications Incorporated. Translator station W244DV in Marysville on 96.7 relays WDLR's programming. 1320 is WLOH Lancaster, Ohio. Wolf Country Radio, the best country leader. They are a country music station, and they air Cincinnati Bengals football as well as Ohio State Buckeyes sports, mainly, as I said, football and men's hoops. WLOH signed on the air as WHOK on October 9, 1948, and then took the WLOH call sign in 1981. WLOH has a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 500 watts ERP days and only 16 watts at night. The station is owned by WLOH Radio Company, with transmitter located in Bernie Township, Ohio. WLOH operates 3 translator stations. W285BO Lancaster on 104.5, W257EQ Logan at 99.3, and W275CT Somerset at 102.9. Short space next to them on 1330 is WYPC AM Wellston, Ohio. Fox Sports 1330. This is the Fox Sports radio affiliate for Jackson County, and they have news updates on the hour from CNN Radio and programming from Westwood One. WYPC signed on the air as WKOU in 1953 and later became WJTD before switching to the current WYPC in 1998. This is a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting at 5,000 watts during, or rather 500 watts during the day and only 50 watts at night. The owner is Jackson County Broadcasting Incorporated, and they operate translator station W287CZ in Jackson at 105.3. Alright, next up is 1350 WCHI AM Chillicothe, Ohio, broadcasting in high definition. Easy 1350, Chillicothe's easy listening station. They play soft adult contemporary music and are the Chillicothe affiliate of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you'll be hearing Cavaliers hoops on Easy 1350. WCHI AM was first aired on October the 1st, 1951. They have a D license with the Federal Communications Commission, operating at 1,000 watts during the day and just 28 watts at night. The station is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Enterprises, or rather IHM Licenses Incorporated. 1430 is WCLI AM Newark, Ohio. This station is known as Kate 98.7, which plays adult contemporary music with programming from Westwood One and the Agri Broadcast Network. This station also airs Cincinnati Bengals football and Ohio State Buckeyes men's basketball and football. WCLT, I read my handwriting wrong, my T's kind of look like I's, but anyway, WCLT signed on the air in 1949 on 1430. They have a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 500 watts during the day, 48 watts at night. They are owned locally by WCLT Radio and translator station W254CT in Newark on 98.7 relays WCLT AM's programming, hence the station's brand as Kate 98.7. 1460 is WBNS AM Columbus. 1460 ESPN Columbus. This is one of 2 Columbus area affiliates of ESPN Radio. Of course, their FM counterparts, WBNS FM, is the other. But this station mainly runs the entire ESPN Radio schedule, whereas WBNS FM airs mainly locally produced sports talk weekdays during the day and early evenings. This station is the AM flagship station of the Ohio State Buckeyes, which means you'll hear their football and men's basketball games on WBNS AM, and they are simulcast with WBNS FM. WBNS AM, also one of Columbus's oldest radio stations, signed on as WCAH in 1922 and then became WBNS in 1934. 1460 ESPN Columbus has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 5,000 watts during the day and 1,000 watts at night, with their transmitter located in the Brewery District of Columbus. WBNS AM is owned by Tegna Incorporated, which also owns WBNS 97.1 FM, more on that station later, and CBS television station WBNS TV Channel 10. 1490 is WBEX Chillicothe. 1490 WBEX, broadcasting a news talk format with programming from Westwood One and Premier Radio Networks. This station airs Cincinnati Bengals football, Columbus Blue Jackets hockey, and Ohio State Buckeyes football and men's hoops. The station also has news updates from Fox News Radio. WBEX signed on the air on September 15th, 1947. They have a Class C license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 1,000 watts unlimited. Stations owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses, LLC. Programming is repeated over translator station W224BH in Chillicothe at 92.7. 1510 is WLGN, Logan, Ohio, 103.3 FM and 1510 AM, Classic Oldies. This is a classic hits radio station and the Logan area affiliate of the Cincinnati Bengals. WLGN first signed on in December of 1967. They have a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting during daytime hours at 1,000 watts and during critical hours at 250 watts. Again, critical hours are the first 2 hours after sunrise and the 2 hours before local sunset. So this station does go off the air at local sundown. They are owned by WLGN LLC. So WLGN does sign off on 1510 AM, but FM translator station W277CX in Logan at 103.3 relays the station's programming 24 hours a day. Again, even after 1510 signs off. 1580 and 1550 are now the same station. Alright, and this station is pretty familiar to a lot of people in Columbus. Alright, 1580 at least is very familiar to a lot of people. That's WWCD Columbus. Their simulcast partner is 1550 WQCD Delaware. Both stations are branded as CD 92.9, Central Ohio's Alternative. Both stations air an alternative rock format. And I gotta look at something real quick. WQCD has programming from the Ohio News Network, ABC News Radio, Fox Sports Radio, and they are also listed as the Delaware County affiliate of the Cleveland Indians. So you'll hear Indians baseball on WQCD. And WQCD also has programming from Weatherbug. Alright. WWCD signed on as WVKO AM on December 29th, 1951. And for a short period in 2020, the station was known as WMYC. WQCD signed on as WDLR on January 18, 1961, then as WXOL, and then a second stint as WDLR. Alright, WWCD has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, while WQCD has a Class D license. WWCD operates at 3,200 watts during the day, 290 watts at night. with its transmitter located in the Brandywine section of Columbus. WQED, or rather WQCD rather, operates at just 500 watts during the day and 29 watts at night. From their transmitter tower, which is located in Delaware, Ohio, which is 1550's city of license. WQCD is owned by Brent Casagrande and licensed by Delmar Communications Incorporated. WWCD, that's 1580, they're owned by ICS Communications Incorporated, and both stations are operated by WWCD Limited. And both stations have a translator that relays their programming. W225CM Delaware relays WQCD, and W225CS Columbus relays WWCD, and both translators are mapped to 92.9 FM. And a quick note, as WVKO, 1580 was a station that aired to the African American community in Columbus from 1963 to 2007, and then again from 2012 to 2020. The WWCD call sign and alternative rock format aired in the Columbus area at 101.1 FM in Grove City from 1990 to 2010, and on 102.5 FM in nearby Baltimore, Ohio in 2010, until becoming internet only. The WWCD call sign, which was held on both 101.1 and 102.5, was assigned to 1580 AM by the Federal Communications Commission on December 8th of 2020, so not even 6 months ago. And then the final station on AM we'll be looking at is 1590 WSRW Hillsboro, Ohio, broadcasting in high definition. They're known as WSRW 101.5, Hillsboro's own classic hits. They broadcast a classic hits format with programming from Premier Radio Networks. And this is where you'll find Cincinnati Bengals football and Ohio State Buckeye sports in Hillsboro, right there on WSRW 101.5, Hillsboro's own. Owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC, this station signed on the air on July 17, 1956. They have a Class D license with the FCC, broadcasting on 1590 AM at 500 watts ERP daytime and just 25 watts at night. Alright, so that is the AM side of the Columbus and Chillicothe radio stations. Now let's jump to the FM side, starting off with the traditional non-commercial band. 88.1 channel 201 and 89.1 channel 206 both have the same programming. 88.1 channel 201 is WWGV Grove City. 89.1 is WJJE Delaware. Both are a part of American Family Radio's AFR Talk Network, broadcasting Christian talk and teaching. The air dates for both stations, the license class for both are both unknown. Well, we can tell you that WWGV Grove City operates at 5,400 watts effective radiated power, while WJJE Delaware broadcasts at 6,000 watts. Both stations are owned by AFR's parent company, the American Family Association. Moving down to 88.5 channel 203, that is WWGY Waverly. It was listed on radiostationworld.com as a news station. No format or other info was given, so we'll just move on to the next tick up on FM, and that's 88.7 channel 204. WUFM Columbus, Radio U, where music is going. This station broadcasts a Christian rock format, which has been on the air since March 22nd of 1996. WUFM has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, operating full-time at 5,000 watts. WUFM is owned and licensed by Spirit Communications Incorporated. And this station has a couple of full-power FM repeaters and a number of translators. Alright. So, the full-power stations are KROZ 91.5 FM in Lompoc, California. That's in the Santa Maria area. And their programming is relayed on K270 AF 101.9 FM, Grover Beach, California, and K299 BE 107.7 FM, San Luis Obispo, Florida, or California. Programming is also repeated on WPRJ 101.7 FM in Coleman, Michigan. This is up in the Tri-Cities area of Saginaw, Midland, and Bay City, but this station is aimed more at Midland and Bay City. WPRJ's programming is repeated over translators W244BS 96.7 FM, Alma, Michigan, and W278BX 103.5 in Saginaw. Since WPRJ's signal has a tough time reaching that far south into Saginaw. As I said, it covers mainly Midland and Bay City. Alright, programming also is rebroadcast on KOXI 91.5 FM, located in Granite Falls, Washington, and they operate two translator stations. One aimed at the Seattle-Tacoma market, which is K206CJ on 89.1 in Issaquah, Washington. The other translator is aimed into the greater Oklahoma City Metroplex on K213EM at 90.5 FM in Edmond, Oklahoma. Oh, but I'm not done. WUFM's programming is also repeated over 8 low-power translator stations across Ohio. And they are as follows. W211BT at 90.1 FM in Athens, Ohio. That's in the southwest corner of the state. W223CF 92.5 in Mansfield. That's like north central Ohio. W254BJ 98.7 FM, Springfield, Ohio. W263AX at 100.5 FM, Chillicothe. W271AO 102.1 FM, Mount Vernon. W273BQ 102.5 FM, Dayton. W277BV 103.3 FM, Zanesville. And W288CT 105.5 FM, Newark, Ohio. And all 8 of those translator stations rebroadcast WUFM's programming. 88.9 channel 205 is WLRY Rushville. They're known as Radio for Life, which plays contemporary Christian music, first signing on the air on 88.5 FM in 1999, but then moved to the current 88.9 on December 14th of 2006. WLRY has a Class A license with the FCC. broadcasting at 1100 watts effective radiated power. Station is owned by Archangel Broadcasting Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Alright. 89.3 Channel 207 is two of the three stations involved in the simulcast. The other is 90.9 Channel 215. The two stations on 89.3 are WZCP in Chillicothe, Ohio, and WZNP in Newark and Zanesville, Ohio. The station on 90.9 is WFCO, Lancaster, Ohio. These three stations are all known as The River, uplifting and encouraging. All three stations play contemporary Christian music. And if you look at the first air dates for all three stations, WZCP signed on technically in Cincinnati as WXUC in 1987, and then later as WVXC. Of course, this station was owned by Cincinnati-based Xavier University. WFCO signed on the air in 1988, and WZNP, the youngest of the three stations, have only been on the air since March 24th, 2008. All three stations have Class A licenses with the FCC. WZCP's effective radiated power is 2100 watts. WFCO operates at 1200 watts, and WZNP broadcasts at 5500 watts. Both WZNP and WFCO are owned by River Radio Ministries, and WZCP is owned by the Christian Voice of Central Ohio. 89.7 Channel 209 is one of Columbus's most recognizable stations, and that's WOSU FM Columbus, broadcasting in high definition. 89.7 FM NPR News, making the world relevant to you. On 89.7 FM Analog and 89.7 HD1 is news talk programming from National Public Radio and Public Radio International. HD2 is the classical music simulcast of sister station Classical 101 WOSA, which we'll talk about later. And there are no other subchannels. WOSU FM signed on the air on December 13th, 1949. They have a Class B license with the FCC with an effective radiated power of 40,000 watts. That's a pretty good signal. WOSU FM is owned by The Ohio State University, which also owns WOSA 101.1 FM, and local PBS member station WOSU TV Channel 34. Programming repeats on translator station W202CE, Coshocton, Ohio at 89.3. 90.1 Channel 211, I think it just has this one station, that's WOHC in Chillicothe, Ohio, which is Air One. Main slogan's Worship Now. Their secondary slogan, which they use more often on air, is The Worship Station. They play contemporary worship music, or CWM. Air date for WOHC is unknown. They have a Class B1 license with the Federal Communications, operated at 7,000 watts effective radiated power. They're owned by EMF Broadcasting. EMF, if you don't know by now, stands for the Educational Media Foundation. 90.5 Channel 213 has two stations. The first broadcasts to Southern Ohio, and that's WAOM Morristown, Ohio, which covers Williamsburg and Mount Orab. This station is known as Radio 74 International, broadcasting a Christian radio format. First air date of WAOM is unknown, but they have a Class A license with the FCC, broadcasting full-time at 5,000 watts. This station is owned by God's Final Call and Warning Incorporated. The second station on 90.5, channel 213, broadcasts in high definition and broadcasts to the Columbus metro area, and that's WCBE Columbus. 90.5 WCBE, Central Ohio's NPR News and Music. So this is a mix of news, talk, and classical music, with programming from NPR, American Public Media, and Public Radio International. That's airing on 90.5 FM analog and on 90.5-1. WCBE signed on the air on September 26, 1956. They have a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission and operates at 12,000 watts effective radiated power. This station is owned by Columbus City Schools and licensed by the Board of Education, City School District of Columbus. 90.7, channel 214 is WOCU, Sinking Spring, Ohio. This is part of the K-Love radio network, broadcasting a contemporary Christian music format from EMF Broadcasting. No other information was given from Wikipedia, so I had to go with what I had here. 91.1, channel 216 also has two stations. The first was originally WDUB, now is known as WOSC, in Granville, Ohio. That's Granville, Ohio. There's no branding or slogan for this station, and this is a mix of news, talk, and classical music. Station signed on November 12, 1953, on the AM side of the dial with the WDUB call sign. The station moved to FM officially in 1969 on 90.9 FM. And it was undetermined when WDUB moved to the present day 91.1. WOSC, as it's now called, has a Class A license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 300 watts effective radiated power. They are owned by the Ohio State University. And that is it for WOSC. The other station on 91.1 is WEWH in Washington Courthouse. This is also listed by RadioStationWorld.com as a news station. No information, or rather no format or other information was given by RadioStationWorld.com, and they did not have a page on Wikipedia. So I got very little out of this one. Alright, next up is 91.5, channel 218, which is WHKC Columbus. Freedom FM, broadcasting a religious format, which first aired on December 28, 2006. They have a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 15,000 watts. They are owned by Christian Broadcasting Services Incorporated. Alright, let me set up. Next, starting to hurt a little, but I can survive. The final station on the traditional non-commercial band is 91.9, channel 220, WOUH, Chillicothe, Ohio. This is a part of WOUB Digital, which airs a public radio format. The station signed on originally as WVZF on October 4th, 1991. Alright. The license for WOUH and the effective radiated power is unknown. The station is owned by Ohio University and is a rebroadcaster of WOUB FM 91.3 in Athens, Ohio. And I forgot to say that Ohio University's campus is located in Oxford, Ohio, which is in that same general area in southwestern Ohio. Alright, that is it for the traditional non-commercial band. Now let's move on to the commercial band. Starting off with 92.3 Channel 222, broadcasting in high definition, WCOL FM Columbus. 92.3 WCOL, Columbus is number one for new country. On 92.3 FM analog and on 92.3-1 is country music. 92.3-2 is new country. Alright, this station signed on the air as WCOL FM in 1948 for about a 12-year period from 1978 to 1990. This station was known as WXGT and then regained the WCOL FM call letters in 1990. WCOL FM has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 22,000 watts. Their transmitter is located northwest of downtown Columbus, shared with the tower used by WBNS TV Channel 10. That's the local CBS station in Columbus. WCOL FM is owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC, and that would make it a sister station to our next station. 93.3 Channel 227, also broadcasting in high definition, WODC Asheville, Ohio. 93.3 The Bus, we play anything. Alright, on 93.3 FM analog and 93.3-1 is Adult Hits. 93.3 HD2 is the News Talk simulcast of News Radio 610 WTVN. 93.3-3 is Air 1, which is contemporary worship music from EMF Broadcasting. WODC first signed on July 1st, 1961 as WBEX FM on 94.3 FM, which is based in Chillicothe, Ohio. And I'll tell you the rest of the story in just a sec, because 94.3 just so happens to be the next station up. Alright, WODC has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 32,000 watt TRP, with its transmitter located in Obetz, Ohio. WODC is also owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Translator station W257CU in Columbus at 99.3. Relays Air 1 on WODC HD3. Alright, so now we can jump over to 94.3 as promised, channel 232. That's WKKJ Chillicothe. 94 Country, the Scioto Valley's home for today's country. So this station plays country music, and they have programming from the Agri Broadcast Network. WKKJ signed on in December 22nd, or rather on December 22nd of 1978 as WFCB in Asheville, Ohio on 93.3. Now, WKKJ, which was at 93.3, that's the frequency that aims at the greater Columbus area. And then what was WFCB at the time on 94.3, the two switched frequencies in 2002. The WKKJ call sign moved to 94.3, while the then WFCB call sign moved into the Columbus area on 93.3. WFCB, of course, later would become what is now WODC. Alright, the current WKKJ on 94.3 has a Class B1 license with the FCC, broadcasting at 19,000 watts effective radiated power, also owned by iHeartMedia and licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. Next up is 94.7, channel 234, broadcasting in high definition. WSNY Columbus. They're known as Sunny 95. Adult contemporary music during much of the year, and they switched to Christmas music during the holiday season. WSNY signed on as the original WVKO-FM on November 11th, 1948. Now that's just 3 years before their AM counterparts on 1580 signed on. The station became WSNY in 1983. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 22,000 watts from its transmitter located in Columbus, near the intersection of Twin Rivers Drive and I-670. WSNY is owned by Saga Communications Incorporated. 95.5, channel 238 is WXMG, Lancaster, Ohio. Magic 95.5, Columbus's best R&B. This is an urban adult contemporary station owned by Urban One and licensed by Blue Chip Broadcasting Services Limited. WXMG signed on in 1948 as WHOK-FM and became the current WXMG in 2015 when Urban One took over the station. They have a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission operating at 21,000 watts. 96.3, channel 242 is WLVQ Columbus. QFM 96, Iconic Rock. This is a classic rocker which first aired on April 1st, 1959 as WTVN FM. This was co-owned with WTVN AM 610 and WTVN TV Channel 6, the ABC station in Columbus, which is now known as WSYX. The station was originally held by WLWC, which was owned by Cincinnati-based Crossley Broadcasting Corporation, which also owned NBC television station WLWC TV Channel 4, which today is known as WCMH TV. The first air date as the current WLVQ was February 14, 1977. In the first license, the station aired was also known as WBUK, which aired a country format from 1966 to 1974. WLVQ has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at 18,000 watts of power from its transmitter off Twin Rivers Drive in Columbus. I'm assuming that's the Channel 10 transmitter. WLVQ is owned by Saga Communications Incorporated, which would make it a sister station of WSNY, and they are also licensed by Franklin Communications Incorporated. 96.7, channel 244 is WKOV-FM, Oak Hill, Ohio. This broadcast to the Jackson area and Jackson County, Ohio. Fuel 96.7 FM, High Octane Fun. This is an adult hit station with programming from Westwood One. This station signed on the air in 1971. They have a Class B1 license with the Federal Communications Commission operating at 16,000 watts. The station is presently owned by Jackson County Broadcasting. 97.1, channel 246, broadcasting in high definition, is WBNS FM Columbus. 97.1, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. On the main FM analog signal and on 97.1-1 is sports, and this is the second of the two ESPN radio stations in Columbus. Again, this station broadcasts ESPN radio programming weeknights, generally after 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and all weekend, while 1460 WBNS AM runs the entire ESPN radio schedule. Alright. This is the FM flagship station of the Ohio State Buckeyes, meaning their football and men's basketball games air on WBNS FM and is simulcast on 1460. WBNS FM is also the radio flagship station of the NHL's Columbus Blue Jackets, Major League Soccer's Columbus Crew SC, and this is also Columbus's official radio station of the NFL on Westwood 1. So you will be hearing Sunday night, Thursday night, and Monday night football games, the NFL playoffs, the Pro Bowl, and the Super Bowl in Columbus on 97.1 The Fan. This station is owned by Tegna Incorporated, which also owns AM counterpart WBNS AM 1460 and television counterpart WBNS TV Channel 10, the CBS television affiliate in Columbus. WBNS FM, signed on the air in 1957, has a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 20,500 watts from its transmitter on Twin Rivers Drive in Columbus, located directly behind the studios of WBNS Channel 10. 97.5 Channel 248 is WOBN, Westerville, Ohio. 97.5 WOBN, the best in college radio. This is a campus radio station which is owned by Otterbein College, with transmitter located on the Otterbein College campus in Westerville at Cowan Hall. This station signed on in either 1957 or 1958 as WOBC AM. The station moved to FM as WOBN FM in 1968, and they moved to 105.7 FM. Then the FCC wanted to put a commercial station there. So in 1990, the station moved to WOBN moved to 101.5 FM and has been broadcasting on 97.5 since November of 2008. WOBN has a Class D license with the Federal Communications Commission. Their effective radiated power is just 29 watts. Alright. And that's just one of two stations on 97.5. The other is WVNU in Greenfield, Ohio, which broadcasts to Washington Courthouse in the southern portion of the state. They're known as Light 97.5, Light being spelled L-I-T-E. They play soft adult contemporary music with news updates from CBS News and programming from Westwood 1. First air date of the station is unknown, but they do have a Class A license with the FCC, broadcasting at 2,300 watts of power. They are owned by Southern Ohio Broadcasting. Short space next to them at 97.7 Channel 249 is WCJO, Jackson, Ohio. Hot Country 97.7. They play country music, and they have programming from Westwood 1 and the Agra Broadcast Network. First air date of this station is unknown as well. They have a Class A license with the FCC, broadcasting at 3,000 watts of power, owned by Jackson County Broadcasting Incorporated. Alright, 97.9 Channel 250. This is one of Columbus's highest rated radio stations, and I mean consistently one of Columbus's highest rated radio stations, and that's WNCI Columbus. WNCI 97.9, Columbus's hit music station, and they broadcast in high definition. Oh, and this is also a Class B grandfathered superpower station. More on that shortly. Alright, so on 97.9 FM analog and on 97.9-1 is Top 40 CHR. 97.9 HD2 is Pride Radio, which is LGBTQ, dance, and EDM. 97-9 HD3 is Spin Cycle, which I think is nothing but mix shows. And that channel is heard exclusively on the iHeartRadio app. WNCI FM, and there's a history with this station. They signed on the air in July of 1961 as WRFD-FM. At the time, they were co-owned with WRFD-AM, the daytimer at 880. And the FM station was known as the radio flagship of Nationwide Communications Incorporated, which was a subsidiary of Nationwide Insurance, which is based in Columbus. Yeah, that Nationwide Insurance. The station became WNCI in 1967. Now, as I alluded to, WNCI is a Class B grandfathered super-powered radio station, which means their effective radiated power requirements were established before the current FCC regulations were put in place. This was around 1976 or so. So since this station signed on in 1961, they are exempt from the current FCC power requirements. So that means the Federal Communications Commission gives WNCI permission to broadcast with an effective radiated power of, listen to this, 175,000 watts horizontal and 105,000 watts vertical. WNCI, according to the FCC, is the 7th most popular radio station in terms of effective radiated power in the United States, which means only 6 other stations have a higher ERP than WNCI. And 2 of those stations are in my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Alright, this is also one of the longest running top 40 stations, which has been playing top 40 music since the early 1970s. WNCI's transmitter is located in downtown Columbus at One Nationwide Plaza, which is of course the headquarters of Nationwide Insurance. WNCI is owned by iHeartMedia, licensed by IHM Licenses LLC. 98.3 Channel 252 is WNKA Logan, known as 98.3 Sam FM, playing an adult hits format from WLGN LLC. Station signed on the air in 1965, but was licensed by the FCC on February 10, 1966. Their class license is an A, and they broadcast with 6,000 watts of power. 98.7 Channel 254 is WYRO MacArthur, Ohio. Classic Rock 98.7. This station plays classic rock with programming from Westwood One. And this is the Jackson County affiliate of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Station signed on the air on March 25th, 1994 as WJTD, but according to the FCC, the station signed on as a licensed station in 1997. The station also went under the call signs WCLX, WYPC-FM, and WJLI. This station became the present WYRO on September 24th of 1999. Sorry about that, I had to cough off camera. Anyway, WYRO has a Class A license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with an ERP of 5,400 watts. They are owned by Alan Stockmeister and licensed by Jackson County Broadcasting Incorporated. Alright, short space next to WYRO is 98.9 Channel 255, broadcasting in high definition. That's WTOH Upper Arlington. This is a Columbus suburb on the north side of town. They're known as 98.9 The Answer. News, opinion, passion. On 98.9 FM and 98.9 HD1 is Conservative Talk. 98.9 HD2 is contemporary Christian music known as 95.9 The Fish. Relayed over translator station W240CX 95.9 FM in Columbus. WTOH signed on initially as WXMX in 1989. Their call sign was also known as WRVF, WLLD, WZAZ FM, WXMG, and WJKR. WTOH has a Class A license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 2600 watts from their transmitter located in Columbus, northwest of downtown. The station is owned by the Salem Media Group, licensed by Salem Media of Ohio Incorporated, and WTOH is also the Columbus area affiliate for Cleveland Browns football. 99.7 Channel 259 is WRKZ Columbus. This station is known as 99.7 The Blitz, your rock station. This is an active rocker owned by North American Broadcasting Incorporated, again locally based in Columbus. This station signed on the air as WMNI-FM on April 26, 1962, so this was kind of a sister station to WMNI-AM at 920. This call sign was later known as WKMZ, WMGG, and WBZX. WRKZ has a Class B license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 20,000 watts from its transmitter located somewhere in Columbus. Alright, next up is 101.1 Channel 261, WXZQ Piketon, which also serves the Waverly area. 100.1 hits now. Top 40 CHR is played on this station, which signed on the air in 1997. They have a Class A license with the FCC, broadcasting with a power of 6,000 watts. They're owned by Piketon Communications, so this is a locally based station there. 100.3 Channel 262, broadcasting in high definition, is WCLT FM Newark, Ohio. They're known as T100, today's country and your all-time favorites. On 100.3 FM analog and 100.3 HD1 is country music, with news updates from Fox News Radio and programming from Westwood One. 100.3 HD2 is rock music known as Licking County's Rock Station, 104.7 The Big Lick. Me and my radio voice. Okay, WCLT-FM signed on the air in August of 1947. They have a Class B license with the FCC, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 50,000 watts. Now that's more than twice the effective radiated power as their country competitors at 92.3. They only broadcast at 22,000 watts. Alright. This station is owned by WCLT Radio, which also owns WCLT AM. Translator station W284CH 104.7 FM Newark, Ohio, relays 104.7 The Big Lick, and its rock format on WCLT FM HD2. Alright, 100.9 Channel 265 is WXIZ Waverly. They're known as 100.9 Cash FM. Straight cash, homie. Nah, that's not really their slogan. I just came up with that. This is a country music station with programming from both ABC Radio and the Jones Radio Network. This is the Waverly affiliate of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Their first air date is unknown. FCC license is Class A. Their effective radiated power is 4,200 watts, and they are owned by Crystal Communications Corporation. Short space next to them on 101.1, Channel 266, is WOSA, Grove City, Ohio. Classical 101 FM, classical music all day, every day. This station plays classical music and signed on the air on August 21st, 1990 as the original WWCD. That is, of course, the alternative rock legend in Columbus. The station was then purchased by The Ohio State University in 2010, and the call letters were switched to the current WOSA, and their format, of course, was changed from alternative rock to classical music. Kind of a drastic change if you ask me. Okay, WOSA has a Class A license with the FCC, broadcasting at a power of 6,000 watts from its transmitter on Borer Road in the village of Lockburn, Ohio, which according to Wikipedia, some even refer to Lockburn as Grove City East. Okay, WOSA is owned by The Ohio State University. As a Michigan man, I hate saying that. And licensed by WOSU Public Media. Alright, this station is also repeated on 4 full-powered repeaters and simulcast on WOSU 89.7 FM HD2 Columbus. Now, the four full power repeaters are all across central and southern Ohio. You got WOSB in Marion, Ohio, and WOSE in Coshocton, or rather Coshocton, Ohio, both at 91.1 FM. There's also WOSP Portsmouth on the south side of the state at 91.5 FM, and WOSV Mansfield, that's north central Ohio, on 91.7 FM. 101.7 Channel 269 is WNKO, New Albany, which also goes into the Columbus metro area and also serves Newark as well. They're known as Cool 101.7, Classic Hits. So their slogan is what you'll hear on 101.7 FM Analog and 101.7 HD1, and that's Classic Hits. HD2 is the country music simulcast of Buckeye Country 107.7, which is heard on WHTH AM 790 in Heath, Ohio. WNKO signed on the air in 1972. Their FCC license is Class B1. They operate at a power of 22,000 watts from its transmitter located in Johnstown, Ohio. WNKO is owned by Runnymede Corporation, and translator station W299CG in Newark at 107.7 relays WHTH AM's country music format on 101.7-2. 102.3 Channel 272 is WKLN Wilmington. Positive, encouraging K-Love. This is a contemporary Christian music station from EMF Broadcasting. And all the other specs are unknown, as in FCC license, first air date, and effective radiated power. All of those are unknown. 102.5 Channel 273 is WWLG Baltimore, Ohio. La Grande 102.5, más música y más variedad. This is a regional Mexican station which first signed on as WHIZ-FM Zanesville on December 16, 1961. Alright. The station's COL, or City of License, was changed from Zanesville to Baltimore to target the more lucrative Columbus markets. That change was made in 2005. WWLG has a Class B1 license with the FCC, broadcasting with an effective radiated power of 15,000 watts from its transmitter on Pickerington Road in Carroll, Ohio. WWLG is owned by Southeastern Ohio Broadcasting System Incorporated under the trade name WHIZ Media Group. The station is operated by Urban One and licensed by Southeastern Ohio Broadcasting System Incorporated. 103.1 Channel 276 is WVKO FM, Johnstown, Ohio. La Mega 103.1 FM, tan Latina como tú. This station plays a mix of Spanish AC and regional Mexican music. The station signed on as WWWJ on July 29, 1975. The call sign was also known as WXLE, WRZR, WTJY, and WSMZ. 103.1 became WVKO FM in 2004. They have a Class A license with the Federal Communications Commission, broadcasting at a power of 1600 watts. They are owned by La Mega Media Incorporated and licensed by Lazo Media LLC. Lazo spelled L-A-Z-O. Alright, we're almost to the end here. Alright, 103.5 and 104.3 are the same station. 103.5 Channel 278 is WNND, Pickerington, Ohio. This station primarily airs to Columbus proper and the eastern and southern suburbs. Meanwhile, 104.3 Channel 282, that's WNNP in Richwood, Ohio. This station covers the northern and western Columbus suburbs, more like the far northern and western Columbus suburbs. These two stations are known as Rewind 103.5, 104.3, Columbus's greatest hits. On FM analog on both stations, and on 103.5 HD1 is classic hits with no additional subchannels. Alright, WNND, that's 103.5 Channel 278, signed on the air as WJWZ in 1989 and was later known as WJZA. WNNP, which is 104.3 Channel 282, they signed on in 1995 as WZJZ and later as WJKZ. The simulcasting began on both stations on July 30th, 2010. That was when the smooth jazz format, which was on 103.5, was dropped, and then they and 104.3 began broadcasting the current classic hits format as Rewind 103.5, 104.3. Both stations have Class A licenses with the Federal Communications Commission. WNND broadcasts at 4,200 watts of power, WNNP at 3,400 watts of power, and both stations are owned by Saga Communications LLC, licensed by Franklin Communications Incorporated. 103.9 Channel 280 is WJKR, Worthington, Ohio. 103.9 Jack FM, playing what we want. Can't get enough of that slogan for some strange reason. Anyway, this is a variety hit station, which first signed on the air as WAXV on September 4th, 1998. The station was also known as WEGE, WTDA, and WMNI FM. The station became